Well, folks, for better or for worse, I guess you could say we did it. We made it through our first full Monday through Friday of, the whole quarantine thing, if you had to do it. I mean, honestly, if you live in New York State, things are pretty bad. Basically, if you have a job that's non-essential, so basically something that is not, food related or construction related, then you have to no longer go to work. Which is actually quite devastating for quite a few people I know. In fact, my father was in a panic all day yesterday when he found out because my father works in flooring, which luckily can constitute as construction. So basically my family's store is safe, which is pretty cool. Well, it's more than pretty cool. It's great. It means, actually something to go to work to every day. Not every day, because his store is off on Sundays. But, he gets to, so from what I know, he still has a job, he's still happy, and that's good. I mean, I always tell people that if you see an older gentleman who looks exactly like I do, and a woman with short hair who walks faster than most people run, those are my folks. I used to say short woman, but honestly, I would really I'm taller than my mom, but then again, I'm 6'4", so I'm taller than most people. I would say she's about somewhere between 5'5" and 5'7", average female height, I guess. But again, that's the one thing, I never try and guess a person's height or weight, just because how the heck would I know some things are easier to tell than others in terms of how much someone weighs or how tall they are. But for the most part, I don't even try computing numbers like that, because honestly, that's the sort of thing that's rude, and in times like this, I really don't think we need to do so. The last thing you want for anyone to be is rude. So, yeah. Happy Saturday, everyone. Honestly, yesterday was rather sort of long and arduous and kind of slow. It started off pretty solid, with you got to 70 degrees. It's pretty awesome. And it did eventually get sunny, more partly cloudy, but still saw the sun. But there was just a time in the day where, man, it downpoured like crazy, heavy winds that could blow somebody away, rain. Seriously, if you were unfortunate enough to either leave your car open or have to run to one place to another outside during this rain, you are going to get soaked. If you were a woman with long hair, instead of being out here, it'd be droopy and sort of wet hair look that women have really anyone has when they are outside in the rain. It was pretty bad. But we got through. I eventually got margaritas yesterday, which is nice. I couldn't eat inside, but you know what? They have a policy which I will follow because I am a good citizen like that. In terms of, actually, I wouldn't mind describing my good deed for the day. Well, here's the thing. It actually started off the night before, Thursday night. No, Thursday night was the night before yesterday. It started on Thursday night. I had to explain that so I can give you the settings, the time and place. This is around, a little bit before I went to bed. A friend of mine on Facebook actually posted a photograph of what are called banana blondies, which is a recipe that she likes to make. She likes to bake at home, with her 2 kids. And because of the whole quarantine thing, she's going to be able to do that a lot more often. She posted a photograph and she asked, I make this recipe, I thought I would share with you all. What other recipes do you like? I don't know where it came from, but I immediately thought back to every baking related recipe that that my mother had made for me growing up. And seriously, I went to town coming up with a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, let's see. I think I came up with 9 things in all, saving the crown jewel for the very end, which I will be getting into momentarily, where the bulk of the story takes place. I talked about how the things my mom would make included a caramel nut brownie made with German chocolate cake mix. Darn, there were those. Right, there was it was a 3-layered bar with nuts on the bottom, vanilla cream in the middle, and chocolate fudge on top called 1, 2, 3 cookies. That's what she called them. 2 kinds of bread, banana nut and zucchini. A really good apple crumble. Let's see. Darn, there were others. Oh, for breakfast, a really good coffee cake with a cinnamon sugar topping that you sort of sprinkle on top before you bake it. That was really good. So from a nice little crust, it was great. Around the winter time, she'd make white chocolate covered peanut butter balls. It actually started. It's funny, when she first came up with those, she really made it with regular chocolate. I'm like, Mom, white chocolate exists. Why not try that? So the world, if you've ever had my mother's white chocolate covered peanut butter balls, you can thank me for those. Pat myself on the back right there for that one. Her homemade chocolate chip cookies, obviously. That's 8 things. And now we get to the 9th thing I mentioned, which is my mother's quote-unquote crown jewel. Now, why is it a crown jewel? Well, you don't know what the crown jewel is, and you know what the recipe is. And the recipe was for brownies. But Nick, you just mentioned that she made brownies, caramel nut brownies with German chocolate cake mix. I did. But this is no ordinary brownie recipe. Oh no. See, a long time ago, Hershey's, let's be honest, it's Hershey, they're chocolate. Hershey's actually makes cocoa powder. And to this day, they still do. But what they used to do, and they have recipes printed on the back of the cocoa powder cans. Now, a long time ago, there was actually a recipe for what was known as Hershey's Best Brownies. Now, when my mother learned that they no longer make that can, no, I should say, they make the can of cocoa. Hershey still makes cocoa powder. They did. But they don't make the specific labeling for the cocoa powder cans in which you can find the recipe for Hershey's Best Brownies. So basically, to this day, my mother still has this can. And she's talked about many times how they don't make it anymore, so she has to keep it. I mean, yes, I have suggested to her that, why not just simply write it down, hold on to it for dear life, maybe keep it in the bank or something. But then she's like, no, she's not going to do that. Stop putting logic into this logic, you foolish fool. Anyway, so basically, yeah, she still has this brownie, cocoa powder can. And my friend had asked if I could, take a picture of it. Which, yesterday morning, I did. I went to my folks' place, took a quick photo of what the front of the can looks like and what the back of it looks like. And here's actually where it gets interesting. See, I'd only heard my mother talk about the fact that they don't make the labeling on the can anymore. So, yesterday was the first legitimately good look I had of what this can looked like. I say this because it not only had a recipe for brownies, but it had a recipe for cupcakes, a recipe for frosting to go with both the cupcakes or the brownies, and actually, technically, a fourth recipe for, double chocolate chip cookies. Just basically put X amount of cocoa powder into your chocolate chip cookie batter. But yeah, my friend ended up getting 4 recipes for the price of 1. Can't beat that with a wooden spoon. Wooden spoon. Baking metaphor. Needless to say, she's very happy. She can't wait to try them all. And the best part is, I only ever had the brownies. My mom only ever made the brownies. She didn't make the cupcakes or the frosting go with them or the double chocolate chip cookies. So now my friend has an opportunity to pick up where she left off. I mean, again, I haven't had any of the cupcakes or the cookies or anything else, but I did have the brownies. And I guess it's about time I should talk about those brownies. Before anyone says anything, no, it's not those kind of brownies. Okay? By all accounts, this is probably a brownie recipe that everyone's used before. But again, it's on the back of a can that's not made anymore. That's what makes it so special. Well, that adds to the prestige of it, if you will. So, in a way, it really is just a simple recipe. But it's a recipe that's really good. Like, I'll put it to you this way. You know how when you eat brownies, the edges are like the coveted pieces, like the corners, the edges, stuff like those? This is a brownie recipe where you could have literally any part of the brownies and you'd be fine. Like, the middle is just about as good as the edges, if not better. It's very thick, very fudge-like consistency. In fact, it's so incredibly fudgy that you'd almost mistake it for being underbaked. But believe me, they're good. And yeah, I actually had those brownies just not too long ago, actually. I think the last time I had the brownies was my mother's Super Bowl party back then. So, definitely a good while, but not too long. Not bad. So, yeah. That was my good deed for the day. So, to my friend, hope you're enjoying. I doubt you would have actually made the brownies or anything that was seen on that can yet. Or maybe you have. I mean, yeah, it's only been a day, but it was pretty early in the morning when I gave you that photograph. When I gave you that photograph, it was like 9, 10 o'clock. Not quite 24 hours, but I'm sure she probably could have done one of them. Maybe. It's possible. But again, if she hasn't got to it, I'm sure she probably will. That's cool, right? So, yeah. And the best part is she has 2 beautiful children. She can make the brownies and all those stuff with her. Think of them as the sous chef and the prep cook, I guess. The older one would have to be the sous chef, and the younger would have to be the prep cook, I suppose. Yeah, that would work. I give the younger one the distinction of being the prep cook because, I mean, again, her children are only like, I think maybe like one's 7 and one's like barely over a year old. So like, yeah, the 7 being the sous chef makes all the more sense. The 7-year-old being the sous chef makes sense. But, the really young one, I mean, prep cook is about the only thing I could really classify it as. I mean, you wouldn't be smart enough, no offense, but a baby wouldn't be smart enough to know to mix sauces and therefore be the saucier or the designated guy who makes sauces in the restaurant. Oh yeah, you think I just talk about food for show? I do my research, man. I do plenty I've done plenty of research for whenever I talk about some of the stuff I talk about when it comes to food. It's so I can prepare for when I'm out in the real world. Not now, obviously, because of what's going on. But, if I'm out in public, I'll be ready. And I will be socially aware of what's going on. And I will be all the better for it. Plus, sometimes it's nice to have a parlor trick like that or two up your sleeve, in case you want to impress a special somebody. I actually wasn't able to see a certain special somebody last night, unfortunately, because of what's going on, but I hope they're doing well at the very least. Man, it's going to be a rough couple of weeks, but we'll get through it. I'm confident we will. We just gotta take it one day at a time. Like, favorite, share, hit that subscribe button, follow me on the social media platforms, turn on notifications on YouTube. I am very humbled I made this video for all of you guys watching, enjoy for him. Hopefully you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Saturday. Remember, if you guys want to talk to chat, most of you are always ever back. Take care and make good choices. Bye. Face the camera. Bye. Face the camera. Face the camera. Bye. There, that works.